You gotta love California, man. All right, I'm out at the beach. I want to make my video out here because I want to talk about the game. I've come down just a tad. And I want to talk. I found some. They're really not. It's not negative things to say, but I found some concerns from the game. And the offense, boy, it was clicking on all cylinders yesterday. It was just like they were hitting whatever they want, they took. Whatever play they called, it worked for them. But the thing that was slightly alarming, and I did bring it up in the chat room, and it was before we scored that second touchdown, that one before the half. I was like, man, we're doing a lot on offense to only have 7 points. So I said that's interesting because in that style of offense, that short, methodical, getting down the field offense, which is one of my favorites, which I really like that offense more than the offense of the last few years because it drains the clock. It does a lot of things. It wears down a defense. It does a lot. So that is my second favorite. My first favorite is just running the ball and just keep running. And if you don't have to pass, you'll win. But my thing was with that type of offense that will take that much to get down the field, it calls for a lot of precision. I mean, a lot of precision. Everything's got to be like it was last night because once you get stops on third down and stops on stuff like that, it starts messing with you. So I'm a little bit worried about that. I want to see what I want us to be able to do is to be able to score quickly sometimes, like Felix Jones. You feel it like I do. Every time Felix touched the ball, we go, we're like, is he, and I want, and the Eagles have that with several different players. So that's kind of why a lot of frustration was toward them. I mean, they beat us last year, and then they got all the players that I want, to quicken this offense up. So if it stays like this, then we're going to have to play some really good defense. I mean, we can't have mess ups. We can't have mess ups like Jink did. We can't have breakdowns. The defense, and if you look at the stats, check me out if I'm correct or not, but I think we're around 22nd in rush defense or something. There were some parts of defense that we were really low in last year. And then check me again, I think we were 4th in the NFC East in defense. I think Washington, the Giants, and maybe Philadelphia, I'm not sure. I think all 3 of them were ahead of us in total defense last year. So we're going to have to get even better than we were last year. Remember that Pittsburgh game? Even the Raven game, we were doing excellent until we opened up the floodgates there at the end. So if we're going to play this kind of offense, we're not going to get that much ahead of people. I mean, we're going to hog the ball. We're going to do wear defenses down and things of that sort. But with this defense, we've got to be around 17, 16 points a game. The Redskins gave up 18 last year, and the Giants gave up, I think, 18 or somewhere like that, or maybe Philadelphia. But we need to stay under like 16 points a game this year. So the defense has to tighten up a lot. Another thing about that, being able to score quick, that's the one gripe that I may have about Roy. In my mind, to be a number 1 receiver in the NFL, you got to have every tool. You got every single one of them. And with all the catches that Roy made, they were all ins, outs, or curls. I want to see Roy going vertical. You know what I'm saying? I want him going toward, I'm catching the ball and I'm running toward the end zone. He's supposed to still have 4.4 speed. You know what I'm saying? And that kind of, wow, look at the seagull. It's going over my head. Look over my head. You see it? I don't know if you see it. But I done forgot what I was talking about Roy. Yeah, look at Roy's highlights from Detroit. They're on YouTube. I did this the other night. I looked at Roy's highlights from YouTube just to get a feel of what he could bring to the team or whatnot. Then I looked at Calvin Johnson in that same year of getting that quarterback, and then this past year too also. And Calvin's highlights leave your jaw on the ground. And I'm like, man, that is a true number 1 receiver because the defense doesn't know how to stop him. The defense can't stop him. I mean, he's going vertical. Now, this is one thing that I want to see Roy too. catching the ball and making the first player miss. Calvin did it time after time after time. As soon as he catches the ball, first player miss, and he's running toward the end zone or he's going up. I mean, it's just phenomenal. And Roy, he has good hands and he was catching the ball. But I want to see him up his game, man. I mean, he's supposed to have all the tools. And when I watched him at Texas, he had all the tools. And he's talking like he's got all the tools. And they saying he got all the tools in camp. I want to see the tools. I want to see him going vertical. I want to see him catching a long touchdown pass. I want to see something other than ins, outs, and curls. Because it looks like to me, every time Roy catches the ball, he's coming back to the football. So those are only things. But like I said before, I'm still juiced up over that game. It was everything that I really wanted to see at this point. I know we're going to have a lot of stuff to work on. And everything, the offense I was telling you about, it still needs to get tighter and tighter and tighter. But seeing it this good, this early, is awesome. Is absolutely awesome. Now, before I go, I want to leave with a quote. Because there's some Dallas Cowboy fans out there that want me to make every video and talk about how great the Dallas Cowboys are and they're going to win the Super Bowl every time. No, Dallas Cowboys great, they're going to win the Super Bowl. Dallas Cowboys great, they're going to win the Super Bowl. I did that all last year. Just go back. The videos are still on YouTube. Go back to last year. I said everything. I said our running game. I said a lot of things that had to eat crow on. I said our running game is better than the Giants. I said our defense is better than the Giants. I said Donovan now won't be at Philadelphia anymore. I almost made a trash talking video of Philadelphia when it was 5-5 last year because I was talking junk. I did make one about fantasy football about Donovan McNabb being horrible at 5-5. So I did say a lot of stupid stuff last year that I'm not saying this year. All right, and here's a little quote from one of my favorite movies, The Devil's Advocate, to leave you out on. Peace.